Hey, and welcome back. Again, what we're talking about is how do we get from the takeaway position to the next move. Okay, and again, what is so important to realize here is that my hand has to be working this way. See how you can see my palm right here? If I go this way and I turn and you don't see my palm, see how you only see this much of my hand? If I open up my hand like that, it's not really facing. It has to be this way. And when I do that, I'm going to feel a little bit of stretch in my forearm area right here, which is really cool. And without a club, watch this, I'll get set up in here real quick. So I get set up, boom, I'm good. Now I'm going to get into good posture. So I'm here. So my first move, I'm taking it here. Now watch my wrist. See how my wrist is doing this type of an action? But as my wrist is doing this, I'm really doing this with my hip. So as I've shifted, I'm going to shift again, and I'm just going to let this hand follow what's going on with the shifting in my hip. Okay, so when I get set up with my club, good posture as always, get set up, butts up and back, everything's solid. We made our first move. There's been no attempt to swing the arms. Now, I'm going to do this with my hip. So the hip feels like it's going even more on the blue line here. Okay, so here's my first move where I've shifted to. Now I'm just going to push this back on this blue line this way, and as you'll see, it's going to bring the club right there every single time. So what I'm going to do is I'm set up in good posture, boom. Now I have to fold that way. See how I've kind of done this with my hip? Watch what's going on with my body. See how this is happening? See how I'm rotating right around this part of my spine? It looks like rotation, but it's really a shift. It's not, it doesn't need our help. Don't try to turn around it, because as I shift my hip, my body will start to respond to what's going on. So when we get here like this, we're here. Now I'm just going to shift again, and I'm going to fold my hands. Boom. Just like that. See how I'm right on line with my spine? Everything is perfect. My right hand and my left hand are right in the center of where this thing has to be. And I've done this with my hip. And what you'll notice right here, when I have this club here, if you could see my belt buckle as an example, this club is perfectly there. Some people are going to call it the shaft plane. Some people are going to call it whatever. The truth is, who cares what they call it? The reality is it has to happen that way. So if we get here, this club, boom. Now it has to reroute. It's not going to be picked up like that. It's not going to be up and then trying to turn around me. It's going to be simple. We're shifting. Now we're just going to let our hands and everything shift, follow the shifting movement of the hip. And what you're going to feel is, with this, okay, if I took my hand like this and I twirl it back and forth and I do all this stuff, now when I set my hand at this angle, because my hands are down here away from me, I've set them as we get here, we've shifted, now it's going to start going this way. And you're going to feel this little slight rotation. And I mean, it's small, but the cool part about it is you're going to feel it. And when we can feel things inside of the golf swing, because everybody's, oh man, I just can't feel what you're talking about. I've heard thousands of students tell Pete and I, Pete, I'm having a hard time feeling that, or Chris, I'm having a hard time feeling that. Well, the truth is, you can feel it when your body's working the right way. And when you can feel it, you can learn from it. And visually seeing what we're doing inside of the cube, you're going to learn from that too. So it gets, again, it's just very exciting, and it's a tremendous amount of fun. So we're going to get right in here again real quick one time. I'm going to wrap up this part of it, but it's simple. Just remember, posture is always the key. So we're good. We're set up in good posture. Everything is very dynamic. It's very athletic. I've made my little bump. Now I'm going to make the first shift just like that. Club's parallel to the orange line. Now when I shift again, watch this. Shift. See how this, I haven't collapsed. I haven't gone down and gotten shorter and all these things. I'm just right here. I'm here. Now I'm just going to shift. So when I shift, watch my shoulders. Shift. See how they're still right here. But look at this. If I get here with my shoulders, okay, if you can see the blue line underneath me, the blue line over here above me, this shaft is on a 30-degree line, which is why it is so important, the blue cube of 30 degrees of the body. Now at this position, because I've shifted back, I'm very athletic. As you can see right here, my center of mass is on the center balance line of the body. And that's what makes this stuff so dynamic. It is so good how well you're going to hit the ball when you understand these things. But again, don't be confused, and don't be, confused would be a good word, but don't buy into, hey, you can't let this club come into the inside. You can't do anything. The natural shifting dynamic movement of my hip once that club shaft, club head, my hands, my arms, everything has to follow my hips. If I was standing up here like this and I just turn my body just like this, look at how my shoulders are following the movement of my hips. Our golf swing is no different. Our human body, anybody's, is such a powerful tool and such a powerful machine. And now, because we're able to learn all this stuff with the best visual understanding that anybody's ever seen before, the golf swing becomes so much fun, it becomes so dynamic, and you're out there playing the best golf of your life going, this game is just a lot of fun, and it's so exciting. So again, I'm going to wrap this up real quick. We get in here. Just remember the stuff I talked about. It's very, very important. So when we get here, we're set up. We're in good posture. We've made our little shift. Everything's square. I'm going to make the first move. Now watch the second move, Mike. It's not going to be just this, which would work pretty good as we can see on the blue line. But we've got to get the dynamic movement of this little extra shifting motion like this. And when I do that, there's no pressure in my lower back. My spine just feels like it's in such a great position right now, and that it hasn't moved from my center. And it hasn't, because I'm just basically shifting around me to get to there. So when I get set up in my good posture, I've made my first move, I'm going to shift my hip and I'm going to fold my hand. Bam! Every single time I get right on that blue line. And that club, for most people, they're going to say that club is so far inside. And you know what I say to tell them? Mind your own business. Okay? Because when you're doing it right, you're following the lines that are inside the cube, and your swing becomes so dynamic and so powerful, it is absolutely amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to be back, and we're going to talk about how to get from this position to the top of the backswing.